to be replaced by pumpkin spice, which is great because I absolutely love the pumpkin spice flavoring, and I'm also excited that fall is here. As I mentioned before, the Sasquatch are usually on the move this time of year. They'll be moving down from the higher elevations down to the lower elevations. So that means that Road 426, Bass Lake, and North Fork is going to be a hotbed of activity. And I'm definitely excited to get into the field there, do some night surveillance, and do some investigating of those areas. So that'll be coming up in the months to come. But on this episode, I'm excited because we're going to be heading up to a area of interest where I haven't been before. And you may recall in the previous episode, I met that incredible Native American woman from North Fork, and she encouraged me to investigate this area, saying that we have a very high degree of probability of encountering a Sasquatch in this area in the spring and summer months. So I am very interested to get up there. I have done some preliminary research online of the area, and I would have to say at first glance this area looks like prime Sasquatch habitat. So I am excited to get up there. I am a little nervous, however, because I am driving a 1994 Nissan Altima, and I've been driving this car for 25 years. So the car has always gotten me from point A to point B with no trouble at all. However, now she's starting to age, and I'm starting to experience some mechanical difficulties with her. In fact, I was trying to get up to my top secret research area on a previous attempt, and I made it as far as Shaver Lake, and my dashboard lit up like a Christmas tree, and I discovered that my alternator had gone up. So I was actually trying to get up to that area prior to when I made the video, and I did have some mechanical challenges, and I did have to abort the previous attempt and tuck tail, head to Fresno, and get the car repaired. And the concern is as they were replacing the alternator, they discovered a crack in my radiator. So if the radiator blows when we're up in this area, it's going to be a serious situation for us. So I'm nervous about that. I also took the car to a mechanic recently, and he took a look and said, we offer grief counseling. So he said at this point it doesn't make sense to repair the vehicle because the vehicle isn't worth the cost it's going to take to repair it. So getting up into this area is a major concern with the vehicle. Also, I am under good authority that the road that we'll be experiencing in some areas will be in a serious state of disrepair. So I don't like the idea of taking this vehicle in an area that's going to be difficult to get through. But I do think the area that we're going to investigate is definitely worth investigating. So I think we're just going to have to roll the dice and head up there and hope for the best. So we are definitely heading up in that area today. I am excited that I found some more batteries for this camera online. As you recall in the previous episode, my camera went out on us when we were out in the field, and I had to resort to using the phone. But this charger is great because I can charge 2 batteries with it, and also it has a USB port, so I can actually plug it into one of these backup batteries, and I'm hoping that this backup battery will be able to charge the batteries for this camera. And if that's the case, we'll be able to have this camera running for long periods of time while out in the field. So I'm excited about that. And I do apologize for that previous episode where I did have to resort to using the phone when making videos. To be honest, this is the first cell phone that I've ever owned, and I've only owned it for a little over a year, so I'm still kind of wet behind the ears about how to use it, and I now know how to properly hold it. So yes, now that I know that, one, we can make videos on it, and now that I know how to hold it properly, at least we have that as a backup if we have some sort of problem with this camera. So that is good. So I'm very excited to get on the road here. So I'm going to polish off this cup of coffee. I'm going to jump in the shower real quick, finish loading the car, and we're going to get on the road because, as I mentioned, I'm excited to go investigate this area, and I'm absolutely excited to bring you guys along with me. Our adventure begins in the city of North Fork, and we will be continuing along the Sierra Vista Scenic Byway, which consists of Highway 81 and Highway 7. The journey is approximately 100 miles from North Fork to Bass Lake, However, we will be stopping and setting up camp for the night in Clover Meadow. This is the area of interest where I've learned from two very credible sources that we have a very high degree of probability of encountering a Sasquatch in this area during the spring and summer months. And having done some preliminary research online, I would have to say that this area does look like prime Sasquatch habitat. First of all, the elevation runs between 7,000 and 9,000 feet. And as I mentioned before in previous videos, if you are looking for Sasquatch in the summer months, especially in the California Sierra Nevada mountains, you want to get into elevations higher than 8,000 feet. So looking at this area, the elevation looks really good. Also looking at the map, it is obvious that there are just numerous lakes in the area, which is also perfect for Sasquatch habitat. And I just absolutely suspect that this area, the wilderness is going to be absolutely pristine. So I'd have to agree that at first glance, I would say that this area does look like prime Sasquatch habitat. And as we journey along the Scenic Byway, there's going to be numerous places of interest that we're going to be visiting along the way. In fact, there's even an audio program you can download online that gives you an in-depth narrative of these locations we'll be visiting. Now, this area that I've highlighted in red is an area of concern because the road may be in extreme state of disrepair, and I'm very nervous about heading up into this area because I'm driving a low clearance vehicle and I'm very concerned that this area is going to be absolutely treacherous. However, I do think that this area is absolutely worth investigating, and frankly, we just need to get up there. Okay, we are all geared up, so let's get this expedition started. On my way to North Fork, I stopped off at the Dollar Tree in Oakhurst to pick up some supplies. I don't know if the Dollar Tree is nationwide, however, every item is $1, so if you're on a budget, it definitely is the perfect place to pick up supplies for your expedition. Also, I am wearing a Bigfoot t-shirt today. This is intentional because, as I've mentioned in previous videos, wearing Sasquatch apparel can sometimes elicit reports from the locals. So it is a good idea when you're heading out into the field or when you're just heading out in your own communities to wear Bigfoot attire, because you'll be surprised how many reports it'll elicit. Alrighty, so I'm here at the North Fork Ranger Station. I'm going to go in there and check on fire permits, also weather conditions for the area that I'm heading. I packed my stove and was planning to cook tonight, but I didn't bring any gas with me for the stove, so I'm going to go in here and check on fire permits, and we'll see if one is required, because we don't want to be eating cold raviolis tonight. So while at the ranger station, I had the great pleasure of running into the ranger that I had the lengthy conversation with the previous time we were in North Fork. So it was nice that we had a chance to catch up and make brief conversation, but I was actually anxious to get on the road, so I got over to the gas station, fueled up the car, and as I was checking the various fluids, I discovered that, yes, indeed, there was a lot of antifreeze splatter throughout the engine. So that's definitely concerning, but I couldn't see any visible leakage coming out of the radiator. So I just checked the fluid level to make sure it was topped off, and I do have spare fluid in the trunk in case we need it. Our first sightseeing stop along the way is the Ross Cabin. Jesse Blakey Ross was born in Missouri in April of 1835, and he moved west to Mariposa County during the gold rush, and he built this traditional log cabin in the 1860s, and it is currently the oldest known residence that is still standing in Madera County. A couple interesting things to note when moving through the cabin are the newspapers from the 1930s that were pasted to the walls to keep the cold air from coming in through the cracks, and the grinding stone in front of the fireplace where Ross's wife, who was a Mono Indian, would prepare meals. The cabin is a really cool 1.5-story Euro-American settlement, and I wonder if the Sasquatch would raid the apple orchard that Ross planted near the cabin. Our next scenic stop is at the Mile High Vista observation site. This observation site offers one of the most spectacular views along the Sierra Nevadas. From here, you can see over 15 mountain peaks that are over 10,000 feet in elevation, with Mount Ritter being over 13,000 feet. And below is Mammoth Pool Reservoir and the San Joaquin River Canyon. It truly is a breathtaking view. So I decided to take a brief detour and head down towards Mammoth Pools to visit the Wagner's Mammoth Pool Resort. Okay, so we've made it to the Mammoth Pools Resort and store, so let's go in and see if we can drum up some reports. After visiting the store, I decided to take a look around the area, and as always, if you are looking for evidence of Sasquatch activity, it's always a good idea to start at the water sources. So that's what I did. I found a nearby river and just decided to explore that area for a bit. I didn't really spend too much time investigating the Mammoth Pool area. I was kind of anxious to get back on the road and get up towards Clover Meadow. So I got back in the car and got back on the road. The next designated scenic spot along our journey is Arch Rock. Okay, right now we are going down to check out Arch Rock. That's the next scenic spot along our way. Not that all the other unmarked scenery isn't breathtaking, because once we got up to that certain elevation, it really, the forest started getting much thicker, and it's really quite beautiful up here. Alrighty, I am checking out the map, seeing kind of where the next stop is, and here's a field tip for you. Okay, what I like to do is I like to leave a few magnets in the car, and that way I can set up a map on the hood if I'm car camping, and I can just set the magnets on it to keep it in place there, even on a windy day. And what better magnets to use than Bigfoot magnets? So I didn't tell you what happened at the store back there at the Mammoth Pool store. So I went over there, and the door was locked, but it said honk, and they'd open the door for me. And the cafe was already closed, so that was kind of a disappointment. I was looking forward to having something to eat, but yeah, I get it. I met this woman that was running the place. I don't know if she was one of the owners, but she said that she had been living up here her entire life when I started talking about the area, but she seemed pretty passionate that Bigfoot doesn't exist. I mean, she was very, very adamant about it, explaining that she had been living in the wilderness her entire life, and she's never encountered one. And she went on to say that there was another Bigfooter that showed up at the cafe. She didn't elaborate as to when, but really not surprising, because this area, I think, is prime Sasquatch habitat. But whatever went down between her and this other Bigfooter, I definitely got this impression that she wasn't so enthusiastic about those who were out looking for Bigfoot. So she got kind of on the defense, but I spoke with her for quite a while, and yeah, she was cool. And I just told her what I'm up to in my whole quest. So we spoke for, I don't know, maybe about 15-20 minutes before I got back on the road. But I have found that not everybody is so embracing of the Bigfoot phenomenon. And it's even happened on, while on expedition, I've encountered people that were very passionate that they didn't exist, and yet these people were on a Bigfoot expedition. So, not to get all global conspiracy on you, but I've encountered people that it was almost seemed that like they were the guardians of the Sasquatch, and they had some sort of inside information, and it was their sole duty to protect these creatures at all costs, whether that involves spreading a lot of disinformation around, or you know, just being taking a passionate there's no such thing approach to the whole Sasquatch phenomenon. But I've also met some very interesting people, especially the Native Americans, and I was happy that I ran into my Native American friend in North Fork again today. And the Native Americans really kind of have, as I mentioned before, the Sasquatch in kind of a spiritual, maybe a metaphysics realm. And that's what's kind of interesting. When I was talking to this lady at the Mammoth Pool store, that I kind of brought up that the Indian philosophy on how these animals may be spiritual in nature, and she actually took a step down at that point, and she was kind of open to that possibility, and she even pointed out some areas up here that she encouraged me to visit because she felt that they had that these areas had kind of a magical quality about it. And I asked her to define this magical quality that she's referring to, and she really couldn't articulate it, just that basically these areas have a very positive energy about them. So I find that all very intriguing, and the whole Bigfoot community in general, I'm not going to be, you know, I don't want to be casting stones at anybody, but as with any community, when people have differences of opinions, they can be pretty passionate about their positions. And I don't really fall into any of this proposed Bigfoot camps that are out there. You know, I'm not cool enough to be in the woo camp, and I'm not smart enough to be in the scientific camp. So I'm just some guy with a camera out doing my own thing. And so that's kind of where I am on this whole quest. And I have met, you know, I'm going to say I've met really incredible people on the journey, both within the Bigfoot community and out as well. And it's really is, there's some amazing landscape over here. I should probably try to find a location to photograph this because it's quite nice, and I'd like to share it with you guys. So I will get back to you guys.